Hi guys, this is Sean, and I'm back with another anime review because my last one turned out good. This week, as you can tell by the title, up there, yeah, I'm gonna talk about Kuroko's basketball because it's one of my favorite animes that I just recently got into, not that long, like a year ago, so yeah, I love this anime and it's really great. Before I get into the anime real quick, I'm gonna do a shout out to ColourMoiChics, and there will be a link to her channel here. She started all the anime reviews. Well, she didn't start. She wasn't the first one to do the anime reviews, but she participated in SourceFed Nerds Anime Club a lot, and she made her own anime reviews, and that kind of made me want to start my own anime reviews because I really like anime. I got into it like 2 years ago, and I don't have anyone to talk to, so I was like, I'm gonna talk to a camera, and that sounds like a good idea, Sean, and not like a sociopath. But yeah. So I'm gonna do like a review of recap of Kuroko's no Basuke, first season, or Kuroko's basketball, or the basketball which Kuroko plays. I don't. You can call it either one of those titles. That's totally cool with me. I do not mind as long as you are watching this anime because it's honestly it's one of my favorite animes of all time. Basically, the anime is about this boy. His name is Kuroko, and you will always know it's Kuroko by his light blue hair. Big thing about this anime, all the super major characters, they all have colored hair. All right. Another thing to know about this anime is that it solely revolves around high school basketball in Japan. If you don't like basketball, watch this anime. It's still a good anime. If you don't like sports at all, in general, watch this anime. It's still a good anime. Um, there's a lot of things where the basketball games themselves, they feel like a battle between the two best players on each team. Like 75% of the games that are played is usually a head-on-head or a 1v1 of the two best players on each team. And it's really intense and it's really fun to watch. And after they get into all the different abilities of all the different athletes, it makes all the circumstances and everything. It raises the bar to another level, and it makes you get into it like it was almost like a real sports game or a real basketball game. Right, so I'm going to talk a little bit about the first episode. Not terribly anything super in depth in case you have not seen it. It'll just kind of give you a brief overview of how we're introduced to the characters and the universe that they live in. So the anime starts out with a narration of kind of backstory of where the universe is right now. Um, Basically, there was a middle school, and it was called the Taiko Middle School, and their basketball record was unbeaten for 2 years, and it was because of this one team, and this one team is called the Generation of Miracles, and each different Generation Miracle has their own special and unique ability, and they're all monsters on the basketball court. And that's basically what the narration tells you. And then at the end of the narration, it says, and then there was a generation of miracle that the generation of miracles even said was a generation of miracle. It's the Phantom sixth member because no one remembers who this kid is. Yeah, find out in about a minute that that Phantom team member was Kuroko. Um, so the scene directly after the narration beginning to tell you where the universe is. It tells you each of the five Generation Miracles and Kuroko. They each went to a separate school, so they were once all teammates, and now they are all enemies, and that's the basis for the whole anime. Okay, so the scene that directly follows the narration is a super busy high school scene. All the clubs and all the and all like the sports teams and everything like that. They're handing out flyers to students saying, "Come join our club, come join our team." Um, and there's a little subtitle that says it's Seren High. Seren High is the main basketball team that you root for. They're a school. They've only been around for about 2 years. They're the underdogs of the story. They are the basketball team on which Kuroko plays. So in the opening scene, you see all these clubs go around and they're handing out their flyers. And then you see one really, really tall figure. And you think maybe this is Kuroko, maybe it's not. but it's not. This really, really tall figure, he's got bright red hair, or not bright red, he's got dark red hair, and his name is Kagami. Kagami is, he was born in Japan, he moved to the US, he's coming back to Japan for high school, and in America, he was trained how to play basketball by, some of the just by like the locals and then some other really good coaches along the way that he had. So he thinks that he is the best in Japan for high school basketball because he went to America. He is sadly mistaken. Kagami signs up for the basketball team and he makes a huge fuss about it. He makes like a mini scene around the basketball table where their sign up form is, and he leaves. And then the team thinks they only had one new member sign up, but then someone says, "Oh, hey, look, there's a flyer, or there's another sign-up sheet. Who is this? Who's Kuroko? He played for Taiko? He must be a generation of miracles. I don't know who he is. Who is this person? No one knows who Kuroko is. In fact, they didn't even notice him sign up on the sign-up sheet." And that is the basis, or that's like the first 5 minutes of the anime. A little bit more that I want to get into. Kuroko's special ability, or his talent on on and off the basketball court, is to make himself invisible. Not actually invisible, but he points people's attention elsewhere, and he has such little presence around other people that they barely notice him. That's why no one remembers the Phantom Six member of the Taiko basketball team, and that's why no one sees him when they do the sign up form. And even when he goes to the first practice, and they're trying to gauge everyone's ability. They don't even notice him until they call his name like 3 times, and he ends up being right in front of the coach's face. And it's really funny, and his like special ability where he cannot be seen by anybody makes for really funny moments, but it also makes for like really sad moments. Like, oh, you didn't see Kuroko, he was right there. And it's pretty funny. Um, there's that. So it's Saren High basketball team. Kuroko and Kagami, they are the first year students. They're going to join this basketball team, and their goal is to become the best in Japan, and that's established within the first 2 or 3 episodes. Um, and the big goal is that Kagami hears about this generation of miracles, and because he loves competition and he likes playing against people who he knows might beat him because it makes him a stronger player because he loves basketball so much, his goal is to beat the generation of miracles. And Kuroko follows Kagami with that goal, and they're a really good pair. They're called the light and dark side of Saren, or the shadow and light of Saren, sorry. And basically they go on to kick whole tons of ass. It's it's kind of surprising how many teams they beat just by using like these two people. That's pretty much the basis of the anime. It's really interesting, especially when you get into more of the fantastical abilities. Like I said before, Kuroko's a little ability. He can make himself like briefly invisible, so it makes him really good at passing because he can get around the ball and he can misdirect the ball and do all the things like that. And then Kagami is just a really, really good basketball player, and he actually develops his own ability later in the anime. But then each one of the other different members of the Generation Miracles each has their own ability. If I've intrigued you enough to go start watching this anime, I bid you adieu because the rest of this is going to be all spoilerific. Yeah, it's going to be all spoiler territory. So I'm just going after the super awesome games during the first season where they play a Generation Miracles team. I'm going to touch on that a little bit. So, like I said, if you haven't watched the anime, don't watch this, otherwise you'll be spoiled because I'm going to tell you who wins and what the score was and how it made me feel. How it made me feel inside. um, so basically, the first major game of the series takes place during episode 3, I want to say, and it is Saren High versus Kaijo High. Kaijo High has the Generation of Miracle, Kisei, who is widely regarded as the weakest of the Generation of Miracles, but that does not mean that you need to take him lightly at all. His special ability, get this, his special ability is that he can copy whatever a player does on the court, and it makes for some really good basketball. The first point of the games is they're playing on a practice court. They're not playing on a full court. Kagami drives into the basket zone. He dunks the ball and he breaks the hoop off of the backboard, and it's epic. And they mean business. So then the coach of the other team, who's hosting the basketball game, says, "All right, forget this," and they bring down the really good like game basketball backboards and like the game hoops that they play, so Kagami doesn't break anything else. And then that's when the game gets really, really intense because it is basically a back and forth between Kisei and Kagami. And you're realizing Kagami, who was built up to be like this really, really good player, doesn't stand a chance in hell against this generation of Miracle. Not one bit. Not until they put in Kuroko, and Kuroko starts passing the ball to Kagami and moving the ball around a lot more do they actually make any points. At the end of the game, it is really, the last whole quarter of the game is basically just a 1 versus 1 between Kagami and Kisei. Kuroko can't play. Kuroko couldn't play during the second and third quarter, because Kisei actually bumped him on the head, and Kuroko went down like an anvil because he's kind of a weak person. Kuroko and Kagami, they do a little team up, and they beat Kisei, and if I remember right, they beat him by 1 point. It's 1 point, and this is like your introduction to like the first basketball game of the anime, and it gets you really psyched. It goes on, it's episodes 2 through 4, I want to say. It's like a 3 episode arc of this one game, and that's pretty standard for this series. And it's just a run and gun game, and it was really cool. It was really cool to watch, and it gets you really into it because it's such a fast-paced game, and it was really close the whole game. Seirin High faces off against Shuriko High, and Shuriko High has Midorima, or I hope I'm saying that right, and I didn't just butcher his name. I feel like I butchered his name, but we're gonna move on past that. Midorima, he is classified as he was the Taiko's monster shooter. He could make 3-point shots from across the court, basically anywhere past the 3-point line. He can make a shot because he's got this really nice over arc for his 3-pointers, and it's really cool to watch him play. It's like the mid-season climax to the whole anime, just because it's another bang and drag out kind of game, and it's 2 aces. It's the Generation of Miracles, Midorima, and he has green hair, versus Kagami and the blue-haired Kuroko. And it's insane to watch these two play against each other during this game, because Midorima is really good and so is the rest of Shuriko High. Kagami has to step his game up, and during the middle of during towards the end of the game, they figure out how Midorima makes his shots, and it's because he shoots the ball so high up in the air that it has just an overarch that no one can block his shot at all because no one can jump high enough. But then Kagami begins to unlock his Generation of Miracles ability, which is his ability to jump ridiculously high. So there's a little point where they're getting beat. Kagami needs to step up his game, and he jumps for it when Midorima is about to make a shot, and then he just pushes himself past like his own physical limits, and he gets just like a fingernail on the ball. And there's a little moment where you can see the Midorima's eyes like, oh no, that didn't happen. This like this mere peasant of a basketball player touched my basketball. And it's really cool to see just these underdogs come out fighting, and they eventually, it's like I don't have that much time, so we're not going to get super into it. But like I said before, it's about a 3 to 4 episode arc of just this game And Saren High beat Shutika High by 1 point. The ending score is 82 to 81. So there was a lot of defense and there was a lot of offense. And it was a really cool game. I can't get into everything, like I said before, but if you can, watch it or at least like read a synopsis on it or read the manga if that's your thing, because it's a really great game to watch. So Saren High wins. They go into the finals. Saren's first game in the final matches of the Inter-High tournament is against Toho Academy. Toho Academy has the Generation of Miracles, Aomine, Daike, if I remember right. Hopefully I can say his name correctly. Yeah, Daike Aomine. He was the ace of the Generation of Miracles. The ace player is the best player on the team. He's your go-to guy. If you need to score points fast, you give it to Aomine. Which is really scary. Saren is basically playing the best person on the best team in Japan. That's basically what they're doing. And they start the game, and Aomine has gotten really cocky because he is the best player in Japan, it seems. And Aomine has gotten really cocky, and he fell asleep at school, and he misses the first half of the game. Now, normally that would have given Saren a really good time to build a huge lead in the game for the first half. It doesn't. Saren barely holds on. To tell you the truth, there were some other really, really great regular basketball players on the other team. And if you watch that first episode of this game, it's insane to watch. Kagami and Kuroko kind of almost are getting beat by Toho Academy, and they're just using regular players. Granted, Kagami kind of injured his legs by jumping so darn high in the last game against Midorima and Shuriko. But after the half, Aomine comes in, and Kagami gets really fired up because his whole goal is to beat the Generation Miracles. He wants to be the best player in Japan. Aomine comes up, and within like 20 seconds of him getting the ball, he just scores on Kagami. He blows right past Kagami, and it's insane. And we haven't even like really seen his ability yet. This goes on for a little bit. They score a few more points with Aomine just destroying Kagami. They put Kuroko back into the game. Hopefully that'll help them a little bit. And it does. Kuroko makes some really great passes to Kagami and the rest of the team, and they score 5 points. And then Aomine gets the ball again, and he gets serious. And he says, "That was a good show, but you guys can't stop me." That's basically what he says. He gets the ball, and he starts to reveal his ability. And his ability is crazy speed, crazy agility. It sounds like the same thing. Trust me, they're two different things. And he's played street basketball, and that's his style. His style is street basketball. Aomine is a monster on the court, and the ending score to that game is 112 to 55. Two Academy wins. They beat them by over 50 points. That's how much of a monster Aomine is. And Kuroko's still in the game, and he refuses to give up, and the rest of the Saren High team refuses to give up. But it's really sad how they do it in the anime, because they take the whole picture of the anime, and then they slowly zoom it in on itself until there is no hope left for the team, and it's like a little montage of Saren High losing. And it's really sad because you want to watch this team like succeed and do all these other things. And that's the end of Saren High for the Inter-High tournament. But there's one more game because there was like 7 more episodes left, and 4 of those episodes are training camp, and you meet a couple of new players for Saren. It's not that important. It's somewhat important for if you're going to watch season 2, but for just a season 1 review, it's not that important. I've gone way over my time limit. Hopefully I can edit this down, so I'm going to talk quickly, very, very quickly about Kisei versus Aomine. It is Kaijo High versus Toho High. Basically, Kisei and Aomine They were bitter rivals whenever they were on Taiko because the one moves that Kisei couldn't do were Aomene's. Um, Kisei at the beginning gets totally shut out by Aomine. It doesn't matter what Kisei does. Him and his team, while they are good, they are no match for Toho Academy until they bring out their secret weapon, which is Kisei. Now, Kisei's been in the game the whole time, but this is the new secret weapon, the new Kisei. Kisei attempts to copy the whole style of Aomine, because the only way that you can beat Aomine is if you are Aomine, and they say that many times. The only one who can beat me is me, and they say it pretty much exactly like that, but in Japanese. Um, so it's a really intense thing of Kisei not playing his greatest while he's trying to observe and pick up on all the tendencies and all the intricacies of Aomine's style, and he finally does it late in the third quarter, and you can see him. His whole body changes and his whole face changes, and it's like Aomine like possessed Kisei's body, and it's really strange to watch this Kisei, who's like this really carefree dude, get really serious and kind of evil looking. And then they duke it out for most of the fourth quarter with Aomine going directly against Kisei, and they're both playing the same street ball level, evil kind of style, and it's just a really like free flowy style of basketball. They can do like formless shots where they will just like throw the ball and it'll go into the basket. It's insane to watch, and it's really cool. This goes on for quite a while until Kisei makes the mistake of he notices that he's about to make a shot and Aomine is going to block it. So instead of pushing his own skill against Aomine, Kisei passes the ball to one of his teammates. His teammate shoots. I believe he misses. And then Aomine says to Kisei, "You made a huge mistake. I don't pass the ball." And then Aomine goes crazy and starts just shooting and making basket after basket after basket. And it's kind of a wash at the end of the game. It doesn't last for too long, but it's enough for Toho Academy to beat them by 12 points. The ending score is 98 Kaijo to 110 Toho Academy. So once again, Aomine, the kind of evil antagonist of like the last half of the anime, wins again. And you really want to get this you want to see the second season so Serenhai can play the second tournament and beat freaking Aomine. And those are all the Generation Miracles, and that is the last episode of the first season. If you guys like this anime, um, comment down below or tweet at me. I'll put the link down just in the description. Talk to me about it because I really love this anime. I have really no one else to talk to. This one I'm talking to a camera. Um, if you have any, then if you have anything else to say it down in the comments. Thank you for watching through this whole video. Hopefully I cut this down to 15 minutes or less. Praise be to the video editing gods that I can cut this down to 15 minutes or less, because right now I think I'm sitting at like 35 minutes. But yeah, hopefully, yeah, 32 minutes I'm at right now. Hopefully I can cut that down to about half. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it a lot. I will hopefully have Kuroko's no Besuke, season 2, or Kuroko, the basketball which Kurokos plays. Hopefully I'll have a review slash recap of that anime up within a week. Till then, I will see you next time. Woo! Also check out ColourMoiChics Channel and my Bleach anime, and both at the same time. Actually, don't watch them at the same time. Then you won't retain any information. Watch this one, then that one. Alright, bye guys. Alright, yeah, so my eye.